the Berio Sinfonia is a piece that is very much of the time when the orchestra came to life. What is the orchestra 1967 and the Sinfonia 1968? And that's, you know, we're in Paris, 1967, 1968. This is an important moment. The Sinfonia is very much a piece of its time. And there are two things about it that I find very appropriate on this occasion. It's difficult in our world today. I don't know what is a celebration, a birthday. I don't think it's the moment to be totally auto-referential and self-congratulatory. We live in times where we need to ask more important questions than that. There are two things about the Sinfonia, apart from it being of that period, that attracted me. One is, of course, this famous movement, which is a kind of love song to music. And this journey, it's like sailing on a boat down the river through the history of music. And I think that if we're celebrating 50 years of Orchestre de Paris, what we're celebrating is music. And that's as beautiful a hymn to music as there is. But also there is so much stuff in the text and the words in the piece which are relevant today. And there is this very important question. It says, you know, music isn't going to feed the poor, music isn't going to stop the wars, music isn't going to lower the price of bread. And this is a piece where very directly you're confronting the question, why do we do this? When there are so many things that are concretely problematic in the world, what is the point of what we do? And I think that, of course, as musicians, we have answers and we have our beliefs about why it's important. But I think it's much more important to stand there boldly and ask the question with no fear than just to stand there and say, we're 50 years old, aren't we wonderful? I just don't think that that serves any purpose right now. And I think that, so in that sense, the Sinfonia, I think, is an important statement. And of course, the Symphony of Psalms, which again, we discussed earlier in reference to another program about religion. And the Symphony of Psalms, then yes, you have this idea, use the trumpet, use the drum to praise God. Again, I don't think that that is as religious in the kind of restricted sense as it sounds. It's saying that music is an extraordinary thing for the celebration of life. I think that it's very hard to imagine the next 6 months on our planet, let alone the next 50 years for an orchestra. I mean, we do live in extraordinary times. I think that the challenges for cultural institutions are enormous, and they will grow. I think that, I believe that the importance of institutions like the Orchestre de Paris is probably greater now than it was at times when things were easier for orchestras and easier for cultural institutions. The harder things get, the more important it is that we have these things. But our future, all of us working in the arts, working in culture, there will be changes that we can't imagine now. And we have to embrace that. We have to find a way of saying that we are not afraid of being forced to defend the importance of what we do, because we're utterly convinced that it is fundamentally important. And we have to find ways of adapting to the new landscape whilst at all costs defending the integrity and the sincerity of it. And these will be very interesting and very challenging years.